Hello, mob family. All right, let me see if I can see everyone. We are all live on YouTube. Excellent. Good morning, Diana. How are you? Hello, Jasmine. Chris Mendoza. How are you? Good morning. Hope everyone's doing okay this morning. Heather, hello. Good morning. Sick puppy. I'm sorry to hear you're sick, sick puppy. Hola. I don't know your name, but you're the sick puppy. Good morning, Facebook user. Mary, good morning. Hello. Dolly's not here right now. She had to go out, so she's not. So I'm flying solo today a little bit, at least until she gets back. She had to go out. Hello, other Facebook user. Good morning, Linda. How are you? It's good to see you all. Oh, Paige. I'm sorry you're a sick puppy today. Hello, Paige. Good morning. This is going to be our construction episode because I have construction happening right outside the window. So if you hear any construction noise or drilling or jackhammering, understand that they decided, oh, Orlando's doing a mob Kaffeeklatsch episode today. This is the day we should do some jackhammering. Good morning, Audrey. Good morning, morning, y'all. Facebook user. So try to put if you don't put permission into StreamYard, you gotta put your name in the comment. Good morning, Federica. Good morning. Unless you want to remain anonymous, which is a whole different subject. But if you put your name, you say, hey, this is, good morning, Paige over there on Facebook. I hope you're not really that sick, Paige. It's never good to be sick. Yes, Jasmine, yours is coming up. Your name is coming up. Hope you're all doing well. Jasmine, that's Jasmine Breeden, not Jasmine Davis. We have a few Jasmines in the mob. Oh, okay. The sick puppies. I seem to have heard this name that it's a band from Australia, the Sick Puppies. But as long as it's not you, Sick Paige, and that's good. I think we have enough. I can't tell. Oh, we have 19. Okay, great. So let's get started. Shout outs to, wow, this is like, the group is always a fairly sizable group. So shout out to my tribe. Some are at work, some are relaxing. They're all over the place. They kind of spread out. Shout out to Dolly, who may be watching this as she's out and about with her dad. So shout out to Dolly. Shout out to my sister Lee, who I may be seeing very soon. So that'll be fun. And I think that's it. That's the initial shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone on YouTube. Hello, YouTube world. Shout out to all of you. We're on at Bitten Peaches Publishing, Storyteller. This is episode 76, if I'm not mistaken. What is this Facebook? First live stream I've been able to make, hitting stream or not. Hi, Lori. Okay, thanks for being here. And shout out to our new YouTube member, Mark Foley. Thank you, Chris, for letting me know. Don't forget to visit our ZAZZLE store at M&S, EMANDES. M&S is the store's name. And at ZAZZLE, we have a bunch of swag there, so go get your swag. This shirt is one of the older swags from the ZAZZLE store. This is a Zilla shirt. This is what we call the Zilla shirt. So, yeah. Hello, Laura. Good morning. Patreon, I don't know if we have any new Patreons, but if we do, welcome. If we don't, welcome, and thank you to all the patrons we currently have. Thank you for supporting us. It makes a difference, and I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you. Good morning, Diane. You don't have to forget about it. Come over on StreamYard, Diane. Come on. Let's see. The newsletter. We sent out a newsletter this month. I'll be sending another newsletter out next month. I'm gonna try and send them out at least once a month, so at least so people don't feel that they're getting spammed, and kind of just give a current event of what is happening and when certain books are going out and things like that. BookBub just released, I think, the Bloodbond, the latest book is on BookBub, so go give it a follow. Find me on BookBub. Follow me on BookBub. That'd be awesome. Same thing for Binge Books, Bebo as we call it. Go find us on Binge Books, and just free. So just sign up and follow us and leave a review for the stories, the books that you've read. Again, it doesn't have to be long. It's just, hey, I read this book, I liked it, things like that. So, and that's basically the shout outs right now. We'll get to the book and audio updates a little later. So how's everyone doing? Weather's turning here, so it's getting nice and cool. It's like in the 70s, although today I think it's gonna hit 90 degrees, which is insane. But the mornings are really, really nice. We're hitting our 70s, which is great. Even though I do my walks, I do my training at some ungodly hour. Usually it's like I get up around 3:30, and by 3:45 I've done the kettlebells. By 4 o'clock I'm getting ready to go head out. Oh, you have construction in the house too, Jasmine. Nice. Yeah, isn't that fun? It's even more exciting when you have to speak and you get this construction noise in the background. So guys, let me know if you hear it, if it's too disturbing in the actual stream. 80 degrees is not bad. I don't mind 80 degrees. I'll walk in 80 degrees. I'll do my miles in 80 degrees. It's when it's like 85, 90, 95 that you start melting and it feels like the sun has set on your shoulder. That's when it's like, whoa. So let's talk Bloodbond, guys. Oh, yeah, that's what I have here. I have concrete being poured, cut, whatever they're doing over there. Oh, school starts, Lori, soon. That's not, well, how do you feel about that? Is it school starts, yay, or school starts, which one is it, Lori? Hello, Facebook user. If you don't give StreamYard permission, you show up as Facebook user. So either put your name in the comment, and that way we know who you are, and I can say hello, your name. Yeah, because high school is a tough age group to teach, Lori, for sure. It really is. All right, guys. So tell me your thoughts on Bloodbond. Bloodbond is the most recent. Try to do it without spoilers if you can. But hello, Rena. Hello, welcome. I thought it was Oh, okay, Rena. Okay. I've seen your name in the mouth, so yes. Well, yeah, that's always good to be excited to teach a new class. How long does the excitement last? That's the question. And I like to hear your thoughts on Bloodbond without spoilers. And so I'm of two minds. Do we continue the series or do we let it pause here and maybe revisit it a few years down in the future? Hashtag villain, Craig and Dragon, welcome. Yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys think about Bloodbond and see where do we go from here. Do we pause it? Do we let it, do we continue it? It's not like I don't have anything to do. I do have like a few other series that need to get hit and, continued and actually wrapped up. There's a few novella series that need to be kind of closed up. Not later, now, Marie. I felt I left the story open enough to continue it right away and maybe start going into full books. The Cycle of Bug needs another triplet of books. I mean, I could do that because the next book, as you guys know, if you've read to the end, the next book would be called Black Crows, and then we start really focusing on Bug and Porter and seeing how they're doing, what's next in their lives as directors, even though it's going to be short-lived, but we start seeing a little bit more into the world of Gatekeepers and even more into the world of Black Crows. Let's see. Okay. Definitely want more Bug. Yeah. We won't give you any spoilers, Diane. I'll try to keep it spoiler-free. The excitement lasting depends on the class groups. A good group, and it lasts most of the year. A tough group, and it fades fast. Yeah. Oh, more now for the book. So here's another possibility, because the way of Bug was really more Bug centric, right? Should we go in the direction of Bug having her own series, and then kind of Porter being a cameo every so often, and we can jump into the world of companions? That's another option too, because we really haven't gotten into the world of companions. I mean, we've met a few of them, and she's had conversations with a few companions. Not that it's ever been really good, but the only one that she's had a conversation with that kind of didn't end and almost threatened violence with Flo, who's at GM. Paige, Gray is scheduled for later this year. So you're definitely getting the third book, which is Nocturne Melody, which is the third book of The Night Warden, which I really enjoy writing The Night Warden. But as I've said before, The Night Warden requires a different headspace, So maybe a companion side story, maybe a novella with just Bug. It'd be interesting to see where that would go too. Let's see, more Bug sooner than later, right? Sig and Georgia Bug. That's an interesting idea. I don't know who you are, Facebook user, but Sig and Georgia Bug would be interesting too. Yeah. More Dex and Morrigan. That is going to have to wait a little while. There is more Dex and Morrigan slated for next year. And I mean, Dex appears in the Mountain Strong stories, obviously, and the Morrigan, but they're going to have kind of like their own situation, but I can't say too much about it. It has to do with the School of Battle Magic. Right. Oh yeah, that's actually really good, Craig, where they were promoted to captains to kind of keep them off the streets, and it just ended up being worse because now they had more authority and more power. Yeah. Federica, that's a great idea. Book 4 about Bug, book 5 about Porter, and so on, like alternating the POVs. It worked well with the trilogy where book 1 was Porter and book 2 was Bug, and then book 3 was it was still Porter, but we got to see a little bit more of both of them. Yeah. Yeah, add Bug to the Brunswick crew. Then you really just want devastation and destruction in the city if we add Bug to the Brunswick crew. Yeah. How do I feel about Porter and Bug? Did I enjoy writing? That's a great question, Chris. So when I write these books, like when I write the stories, usually I start putting up stuff on Twitter and I start like for Instagram, I start finding excerpts to put up, like interesting excerpts. And sometimes I have to kind of search through the book so I don't spoil the book when I put up these excerpts on Instagram. For this book, for Blood Bond, I didn't get past chapter 1 because just the first chapter was full of all these great quips and excerpts. And the entire book was that way. The entire book was just a fun write. In terms of writing it was just exciting. Just writing it, getting into it, mostly letting Bug be Bug and having Porter kind of pull her back just a little bit, but then that kind of play where I'm a gatekeeper, but I'm also a companion, and I'm more companion than gatekeeper. That was a lot of fun, writing, letting Bug kind of let loose just a little bit. And also having Porter be like, no, we don't do that right now. This is not the way you behave as a gatekeeper. So I'm not a gatekeeper, I'm a companion. So that was a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed writing it, yeah. Definitely. Jasmine, when you get to it, you'll have a lot of fun. Let's see. We want more devastation and destruction. Got to keep the construction companies busy. So on that note, in the next book, in Blood Lessons, which is the next Monty and Strong book, you're going to meet a character titled The Actuary. I think this was a shout out to Tammy who gave me that idea. So you're going to have the actuary who works with the damned as part of, he's going to be the insurance arm of the damned. And he's going to have a conversation with Monty and Strong about the demolition that's going on. So yeah, Lori, a short story collection is awesome. To do it is the time to write those short stories. That's always been the paradox. Like you have all these good ideas, is making all that time to write these stories. Oh yeah, that's definitely like this is Facebook user saying it would be fun like the sidekick-like characters had their own bar, a monthly get-together, like the Young Justice in Justice League, for sure. Yes, Rebecca, I liked having Bug and Corman together because it kind of showcased Corman a bit. Like even in the last book, in Blood Bond, Corman was given a little bit more time to kind of show how strong he is, because we get this image of Corman being this older gatekeeper, and maybe he's not as strong as Porter, but he's definitely up there in the power level. Corman kind of reminds me a little bit of Dex in a way, just a lot crankier and not as funny or as fun as Dex. He's a little more serious, more dour. He's like the salty drill sergeant type character. Right, exactly, Chris. Like, I'm old, not dead. That kind of thing, And so Corman his first response is always going to be like the growl, it's always no first, and then he'll come around to a yes. So that's Corman's initial way of being. But he helps him out considerably. Yeah, but he's really close to Dex in the sense of the figure that he plays within the Bloodbound world, with the Gatekeeper world. Like it's not that he saves them, but he kind of shows them there's so much more you still have to learn, So it's like the things like the mind wipe. I'm not going to go into too much detail because again, people haven't read it, but like the mind wipe thing, or the fact that, when he confronts the Hulks kind of thing, Yeah, Craig, that's a good point. So Craig is saying you might need to do something with the Peacekeepers as well. There might have to be something where maybe even Bug and Croft have to get together, or Bug, Croft, and Porter. Although the Peacekeepers, if you notice, the Peacekeepers are willing to do the things the gatekeepers won't or can't. Peacekeepers seem to have a little bit more leeway. And so that would be an interesting thing to do. Lori's saying time is as an extremely finite quantity is something I understand. Yeah, it really is finite. Pretty sure Zilla would have something to say about the relationship between time and ideas and why amount of time decreases at a faster rate as the number of ideas increase. And that's so true. If you were able to look at my board, if I was able to turn the camera around, and you would see how many books are scheduled, how many books are slated. It's insane how many. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get this all done? This is like I have like 5 years worth of books scheduled. Like, that's, how am I going to get to all these stories? And that's not including the other stories that come to me as I'm thinking about those stories. Because here's what I tell every writer. It's like, even every creative person, you get your ideas as you're working, as you're developing the story that you're on or the project that you're on. While you're doing that, more ideas come at you. It's crazy, but that's the way it is. And I've always said, get a notebook, get your phone, something, get that idea, get it down, get it out of your head, and then continue your project. Or else you're gonna end up doing like what I did with Sepia, where I had Monty Strong come at me in the middle of the series, then I went off a tangent, did Monty and Strong. 16, 15 books later, I had to go back to Sepia. So get the idea down, get out of your head, and continue, But the ideas will come to you as you're in the middle of something. I think it was Louis L'Amour who said, inspiration flows when you're working. It's like as you're working, that's when your ideas will come. It's that way, and it comes at you in the craziest moments, the craziest times. Sounds like me and my daughter know, but Dad, yeah, Chris, exactly. Yeah, see, Diane, I have found a way to be immortal. It's called, can I show it? Coffee, Death Wish. Yeah, there are a lot of ideas I have that I don't know if they're ever going to see the light of day. I'm going to hope to be around long enough to get them all out. That's because there's so many that I really want to touch. And then there's this secret project that I'm working on that each day it's getting more and more awesome. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to kind of let them know, but at the same time I can't because it's going to be a long process. And I know I'm a tease, I admit it, but that would be cruel because I don't know when that's going to get done. So I'm not going to put that out there until I kind of have an idea. And the fact that I don't even have a cover for it yet lets me know that it's going to take a while, Definitely, Craig. Yeah, Craig, that's a great distinction. The gatekeepers are like police, and the peacekeepers are like soldiers. And so you could see that in the way Croft dealt with the situation and in the way Porter advises Bug how to deal with situations. Like there are a lot more rules for the gatekeepers, and for the peacekeepers, it's more like we got to get to, not always at the end justifies the means, but Croft has less restrictions upon him to do things. And Porter operates under different code. So it's definitely different. Yeah. Facebook users, at least you're not doing a George R. R. Martin. I don't think it's that bad that he's doing 1 word a week. It may feel that way to his readers, but I don't think he's doing 1 word a week. And he's written some really fantastic books. I think what happened to Grimm or George R. R. Martin is that with the HBO show and it going beyond the books, it set up a huge barrier to him finishing the series because he might feel like, well, how can I write something different than what the show did? I would have done it anyway. I would have just said, I'm going to write my version and you can enjoy the show as much as you want, but this is the version, the written version. And the show took liberties and did what it needed to do. Also, I don't know if there are contractual differences. Like, can he write something different than what the show put out and what the showrunners did? I don't know. I just watched The Sandman. Sandman is completely different than the comics that were around 30 years ago. And even though Neil Gaiman was on the show as an executive producer, The show took liberties with the story that's completely different from the comic, and people can enjoy both. You can enjoy the comics from 30 years ago, or you can enjoy the show that just came out now. So it's a matter of, as a writer, if they take your story and transport it to a different medium, and your story is still in progress, do you continue the story the way you foresee it, or do you let it kind of come to a resolution in the different medium? It's an interesting thought process, you know? Yes, Paige, I agree. I believe even prior to the show, he had a slow writing process. So like maybe one book a year or one book every few years. So, and the show goes quick. The show can't wait 2 years to put out a season or an episode. The show's gonna be like, let's get that out, you know? So they caught up to his series quickly. I mean, quickly by his standards. And so it's like, you know, let me see if I can read something that, because I'm talking and I'm not reading the feed because Dolly's not here and she always reads the feed for me. So I'm flying solo. It's like I'm flying the B-52 alone. The opposite would be even scarier, a happy-go-lucky character with unimaginable power that always smiles and frightens the crap out of everyone. That, I'm sure, that would be Karma, or TK and LD fit that kind of mold of the, not happy-go-lucky, but the one that, like, if TK or LD start smiling at you, I would start running and worrying. Yeah. Let's see. Heather says the idea muse can tap more than one person. Yes, I've always been of the mind. I think I sent this article to Chris about, if you ever read Stephen Pressfield, he touched upon this article called The Source. It's like the source where creativity is just like the source of energy that's all around us and you can tap into. And several people, you can tap into it all at once. And so my own opinion is that if an idea comes to you and you don't capitalize on it, that idea will go to someone else. And that's why you sometimes hear authors said, I had that idea a few years ago, but I never did anything with it. And now someone else took that same idea and ran with it. And it's like, you know, that's what happens. These ideas, you tap into this. No author can tell you this is where I get my ideas from, because it's very hard to say, I get my ideas from X. But these ideas are out there. And what makes them unique is the way you tell them. But the ideas are out there. And so each author, each creative person will put their own spin on it. So, yeah. On that note, what are the chances of an M&S, HBO Max, Hulu, Amazon Prime show? That depends on HBO Max, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. If they reach out, you know, I'd have to. I want to be on the show as at least a consultant. You know, and maybe get on the screenplay with the writers. I'm not going to say I'm a screenwriter because I'm not, but at least have some consulting power in there. It's not hard. It's just you got to know the right people. It's a whole thing. Marie says, started watching Sandman too. It's great. Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I thought it was really well done. Right, Paige, up until episode 7, it stays with the comic. Really, it stays really true to the comic. And then after episode 7, it deviates. I wouldn't say does a 180, but it deviates from the comic after episode 7. And there are only like 10 episodes, if I'm correct. So, yeah, once you get past episode 7, you'll see that there's been some creative license used. I'm missing my wing woman for sure, Cynthia. And good morning. Yes, my wing woman is here. She reads comments. She doesn't be missing. So I apologize beforehand. If I miss a comment or if I get to it later, just keep writing and I'll keep reading. The good thing about StreamYard is that I could see the comment even as we're talking. So that's awesome. Let's see. One of my favorite parts of the M&S books are the interaction between Karma and Strong. Yes, and that's getting explored a little more later on. It's an interesting paradox, dichotomy, story element, because why Karma? When it was Kali who cursed Simon, and we start getting into why Karma shows up. It's going to be that part's going to be really fun. Yeah, I'm currently waiting to be approached. It's not like I have the time to go around, because to shop a story, you have to kind of actually go out there. It'd be easier for me to create a Kickstarter for a graphic novel or something like that. And even then, that would take a lot of time. So I'm currently waiting to be approached. Exactly. Yes, that's basically the position right now that I'm in. Any novellas about how Roxanne and Monty and Simon and she met? Not at the moment. No, no. I've always been of the mind that those two relationships, although they're different, they're kind of similar, and they have their own romantic tension. But I don't want to develop them too much because sometimes you lose something in that, in breaking it down and showing everything. Sometimes it's good to leave something to the imagination. I've kind of explained Dex and Morgan, and that's been pretty fun. Yeah. Or hire a Hollywood agent, right? That's another option. Neil Gaiman just posted this bonus. Yeah, I believe there's bonus Sandman content. That would make sense that there'll be bonus Sandman content. I would put Sandman a few levels below Good Omens, because Good Omens was so good because of the Terry Pratchett influence. So Sir Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, when they created Good Omens, that was truly something magical. And so that series, the casting was phenomenal, and the story, the way it was developed, was incredible. So that for me is so far one of the best Neil Gaiman series. I saw a bit of American Gods, and I was kind of like, It really didn't hold my interest that much. It was well done. It was well casted. I really liked Ian McShane, but it just didn't really hold my interest, which was interesting because I do like Neil Gaiman. I read the book twice, and it was good, but you know. The Date Part 2, Roxy and Monty have a double date with Sheehan Strong, possible cameo of Karma. Yeah, that would never happen. Those four going on a date together. Just not something that would work. Same thing like with the road trip. Someone suggested like they go on a road trip. It just wouldn't happen. One, because they have too much responsibility in the positions where they are within the world. They can't just go on a road trip. I think it would have to be a cataclysm that would have to force them to go together, all four. Imagine one runs the Dark Council, one runs Haven, and the other two are busy destroying everything. To take them all, put them in a vehicle, and send them across the country or send them somewhere leaves too much of a void where they are, you know. Right, Audrey? Yeah, I really enjoyed Good Omens. It was really well done, very well. The casting was fantastic. It was phenomenal. I mean, the two leads took it, but it was really well done. And you really got to see Sir Terry Pratchett's influence on the story, which is really something. It was nice to see. Nice to see the Pratchettisms, or Pratchettisms, I guess. Yeah, that was good to see. The narration and the way things were kind of brought from the book to the film to the screen. That's in that sense. That was well done. So when Monty and Strong come to the screen, first we gotta have the right casting. And I always tell Dolly, the casting is key. If the casting is off, you're constantly trying to reconcile your image of Monty and Simon with what's on the screen. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't jive, doesn't align, you have a hard time getting into the story because you're like, that's not Simon, that's not Monty in your head. And that's what happens to a lot of people when they see a book turn to a movie or a series. They're like, I didn't like it because I didn't like the actor portraying that character. And that's what happens, and you lose the story. That would be crazy if Dex and Morgan get married, and then Roxanne, she and TK are bridesmaids. Yeah, you know. Welcome, Melissa. Glad to see that it's working. You finally got here. Yay! It's awesome. So yeah, I think it would have to be something like an out of context story, something really fun, something like that, like Dex and Morgan getting married and everybody has to get to the wedding. But, you know, at the same time as they're all getting to the wedding, all their enemies are coming to take them out at the wedding because they know everybody's gathered together. The thing is, if you think about it, who would want to crash a wedding that's marrying Dex and the Morgan? just those two alone are enough to pretty much, obliterate everyone. I wouldn't want to go crash that wedding, no matter how powerful I was, because just them two. Then if you add TK, Monty and Simon, Roxanne, it just gets crazy, Yes, Rena. See, is it Rena? I guess I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Rena. Tom Cruise in Interview with the Vampire was horrible casting. It was, because my image of Lestat was very different from Tom Cruise. That just didn't work. Yes, with Ezra officiating, no one would in their right mind would think about crashing that wedding. It would be a great story. Like, it would be something that some villain, some enemy entity trying to make a name for themselves hears about it and says, this is the wedding I'm going to crash. I'm going to show them how powerful I am. And then realizes that the people getting married are Dex and the Morgan being officiated by Ezra. And realizes that when they get there. And now they got to kind of extricate themselves from that situation. That would be the funny part. Yeah. Maybe on the YouTube, Rena. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Rena. Craig says it's not about crashing the wedding. Just with the Morgan, let something like the Red Wedding even. No, she wouldn't. I mean, yes, she's a death goddess, but there are certain things that she allows, certain things she wouldn't allow. If you read which one was it? Oh, Peanut. If you're a patron and you read Peanut, and I'm sorry for those of you that aren't patrons, if you read those are stories that are only for the patrons, you get to see a different side to the Morrigan in that short story, So is that on YouTube, Lisa, that there's 3 of us? 4 of you. Awesome. That's still good. That's amazing. So the casting makes a big deal. The casting sells it. So if I would have cast the Monty and Strong, if I had a choice in it, because I doubt I would have a choice unless I was an executive producer, right? I would definitely cast Benedict Cumberbatch as Monty. The backup would be Tom Hiddleston, and I would definitely cast Ryan Reynolds as Simon. Those 2 would be my go-to. If we could get those 2 to do Monty and Strong, that would be amazing. This is true. TK does know how to officiate a wedding. That would be scary. And if anyone tried to get into a wedding with TK officiating a wedding. Right, exactly, Lori. It's like Napoleon didn't learn it. Going into Russia in the winter is a bad idea. So let's go crash this wedding. Who's getting married? Oh, some guy named Dexter and some woman named Morrigan. No, it can't be that. How bad could it be? I think Ryan Reynolds would be a fantastic Simon. It's interesting because I don't hear Ryan Reynolds when I'm writing Simon. Simon has his own voice, but I think that would be a great way to translate the Simon-ness of the character to the screen, for sure. Yeah, and then have the entire 10 there, right? That would be awesome. Oh, Judd Hirsch as Ezra is a really great call. I like that one, Cynthia. Judd Hirsch as Ezra, for sure. I call him Benedict Cumberbatch, Marie. Right. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Like, you get a big group of like villains or evil people, and this seemed like a great idea at the time. Why is there such a spike in power when we got to this place? Huh? So yeah. That would definitely be a fun. Maybe I'll make that a Patreon story. That would be fun to write. The next Patreon story, because I have one called the next one is called Sid's Day Off. If you know who Sid is, you know that he doesn't really get days off. And it dovetails nicely with one of the stories in the Monty and Strong series. So it's like this interlude into one of the stories, which is really fun. The story after that is called JAVAMBROSIA, which is Simon learning the spell to make coffee, and Monty helping him. And then there's another person who comes in to help him, and how that goes horribly wrong. So that'll be fun. That's optional. Yeah, exactly, because it's Dexter, Oh, gee, see, now you're asking me for stuff that Dolly does. So if you need the Patreon link, I know that it's posted in the mob room. So look in the mob group, and it's pinned. It's one of the pin posts. Oh, it's not. It's not just decaf time. It's gonna be so fun. You guys will see it. So don't worry. I'll see, Craig. That would just be scary if all three aspects of the Morgan show up. That would be scary in 3 different outfits. Yeah, that would be like one of those like moments where you gasp. Brent Spiner as Ziller. I can't see him as Ziller. No, because it's still in my head. I still see him as Data, so I can't see him as Ziller. And plus, Ziller's old. Has been older, really well seasoned mage, and it's a professor type. So, you know who could be a good Ziller? Who plays the butler in the Batman? What's his name again? Jeez. That actor would be. He was in Inception also. He played the grandfather in Inception. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the Patreon link. Thank you. And hello, Facebook user. But the actor who played the butler, who played Alfred in the Batman with Christian Bale, the older actor, I could see him as a Ziller. Although Ziller's old, but he doesn't look old, you know? Ewan McGregor's, no, he can't be a Ziller. He's too young. And Ewan McGregor will forever be known as Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think. I think he's, not that he's typecast, because he's a fantastic actor, but in my head, I always see him as Obi-Wan. This is the way it is. Yes, Michael Caine. Thank you, Marie. Yes, Michael Caine would be a great Professor Ziller because he kind of has the gravitas, right? But he can also be really funny, and I could see him being like really, really. I could see him doing a really good Ziller. Is Dex in a polygamous marriage? It's all the Morrigan, so it's just 3 facets of the same goddess. It's not like she's 3 people. Well, although within the mythos, she could be portrayed as different people. But to my recollection, she's not like the Fates, where all 3 personas exist at the same time. She appears as each one of those depending on the situation. So I wouldn't say he's in a polygamous marriage. I would say it's just basically she's a triune goddess, which means she has 3 facets. But she definitely keeps Dex on his toes, for sure. He doesn't. Yeah, there you go. Exactly, Tammy. Oh yeah, Jeremy Irons would be a great Ziller too. I agree, Paige. Jeremy Irons would be a fantastic Ziller. And he's a little, well, I want to say he's a little younger than Michael Caine, but I think he is a little younger than Michael Caine. But he's still old enough to give that kind of, like the wisdom that comes with age, you know? Exactly, Craig. Yeah, the maiden, the matron, and the crone, which are the fates. With the Morrigan, it's similar to that because there is an older aspect, a young aspect, and then there's a scary aspect, which is the war maiden, which is the one that shows up in the battlefield. You really think Dex argues with the Morrigan? I don't think he's that crazy. I don't think he'd argue with her at all. Yeah, that Michael Caine is a little up there in the years for sure. I think he might be, you know, again, that's the image. If it ever gets done and Professor Ziller needs to do a cameo, it's not gonna happen with Michael Caine because he's probably gonna be too old for it. You know, it took the Sandman 30 years to go from a comic book to a screen. These things take a long time, you know. So maybe someone like Jeremy Irons or like him. So by the time it gets done into a screen or Netflix picks it up or becomes an Amazon original, we'll see someone who's older who can kind of step into that role. But Ziller's not that prominent in the stories. At least he comes in every so often, but you really need to consider like who would be Dex and so forth, like and things like that. Oh yeah, Zazie Beetz would be a great, yeah, she would be a great bug. She actually looks a lot like the bug on the covers too. She was good as Domino as well. I don't know who you are, Facebook user, but that's a great suggestion. I liked her acting. She was good. She was good as Domino, for sure. I could see her being a good Bug. See, that's a series that I could see being a movie, like Bug and Porter, Porter and Bug. I could see the Gatekeepers being a movie for sure, because it kind of has that feel, that cinematic feel to it. Cynthia, I could see where he's grouchy enough to pick a fight with her, but he has to know that it's a losing proposition, you know? Anthony Hopkins? It's Anthony. Okay, yeah. Anthony Hopkins is also getting up, and I still see him as Thor from Marvel, so. So just a huge shout out to Deranged Doctor Design, who does all the covers, except for the Night Warden covers, which are done by Gene Malika. And those covers are, the Gene Malika covers are like artwork in terms of you could take them from their cover size and blow them up, and they don't lose any resolution because of the process that he uses. And the Deranged Doctor Design are still amazing because they've done all this work and it just looks fantastic. Each of their covers blows me away. So I was very fortunate to get two very good cover designers. All right, let me do some of the book and audio updates because it's already 12:15. I don't know where the time goes. I was telling Chris today, I can't believe we're doing MoB today. It felt like it was this last week that we did MoB, but it was only 2 weeks ago. It just goes by so quick. Which character would I play? I'd want to be in the background. So if we do Night Warden, I'd be Cole. And I'd be the bartender because I get to hang out in the back and just kind of be in the background. That's what I do, something like that. I couldn't play any of the main characters because in my head it's like, that's not me. Even though, who said this? Neil Gaiman said this in an interview that they were doing for Sandman. He says, there's a little bit of you in every character you create. You just kind of have to go inside and find what makes this character like this, what makes this character like that, what part of me is this character, what part of me is that character. You know what I mean? So, but I couldn't play any of those characters. It would feel weird to me to be any character. So I'd play Cole, which is kind of like a background character. He doesn't do a lot. He's in the background. Although I'm going to develop him later on in the Night Warden series. Stan Lee cameos for the win. Exactly, Tammy. Stan Lee. No author book links this week. Oh, so let me give John Logsdon a huge shout out. He's got his Grave Mythos series out. So if you haven't pre-ordered those books, all three are available on pre-order. So, the last two. The first one is live. The next one comes out September 1st, and the last one comes out October 1st. But the number 2 and 3 are available for pre-order, so go get them. And just have them ready so when they do go live, you get them automatically downloaded. So don't forget to and I hear great things about it. I haven't read the first one yet, but I have it, and I have actually all three. I just haven't read it, but I hear great things about it. I did see the first chapter of the first book when he was starting to write it, and it's awesome. So go do yourself a favor and grab John Logsdon's books. Yeah. Let's see. So for what we're discussing, okay. Book and audio updates. So Blood Lessons, which is the next book right after Revenant, is being written. It won't come out until somewhere in October, maybe the end of October. That comes out. So that'll be, the art will be early October, and it'll come out a little bit after that. So get ready for that one. That's gonna be fun. Quan comes back, and we get to explore some poison, which is a lot of fun. The audiobook starts production in November. I believe that Stormblood is the next audiobook because Kevin's schedule is crazy and we had a little bit of our scheduling snafu. So November starts the production. Secret Project, I can't tell you too much, but it's really good. And I'm doing research. What am I reading for research? Right now I'm currently reading Sarah J. Maas for research. That's one of the books that I'm reading, A Crown of Rose and Thorns or something. I think what is it called again? Hold on. I'll tell you right now what it's called, what I'm reading as research for this book. Because I have A Court of Thorn and Roses. That's what I'm reading as research for the Secret Project. I've never read a book like that before. And I was complaining to Dolly how it's like, oh my God, it's just so much stuff to get to the point. But that's the way these books are written, you know? So it's like, You describe the room and the curtains and the color of the curtains and the material of the curtains, and she spends like 2 paragraphs just on the curtains. And it's like, oh my God, you just say the curtain's made of this and then let's move on. But the story requires that because of the way it's written and because of the story that it is. So I'm hunkering down and doing my research and grumbling to Dolly about it. Don't forget to leave your reviews for Bloodbound. We're still doing book and audio updates. Leave your reviews for Bloodbound. There'll be a new newsletter next month because I already did one this month. I'm trying not to spam your folders. And we're going to get to the questions in about 5 minutes because we do have a lot of questions. So, yeah. So that's basically it. Let's see. Van City Reynolds. Oh, just hit up. Yeah, listen, if you know Ryan Reynolds, let him know. Speak to him. No author. Yeah, okay. Stanley. Yes, Stanley cameos. Gloria, I agree. We all look for Stanley in the movies. In all of them, we look for his cameos. This is so true. Thank you, Chris, for putting up the link for Grave World the World Digger Mythos book. Thank you for putting up that link. And yes, Chris, research, shoot me now. It becomes this rabbit hole that you gotta like, do I really have to read this? Like I'm reading this book and I'm like, oh, okay, let me get into it. I'm trying to get into it because I do like epic fantasy and stuff like that. But this is like, wow, okay. You know, it just gets so, for me, it gets drawn out. You know how my books are, and this is what you call a super slow burn. And I'm not going to do that because I can't do that. My brain just rebels at the idea. But I have to read it so that I know the romance aspects of it and how to weave the romance into the fantasy. And then I'll put my own spin on it because I just can't. I just can't. Yeah, see, Lori, I'm the same way. Like, if you're going to spend this much time, for me, here's my opinion. And I never denigrate. I'm not talking about any author because every author has their own way of writing and stuff. But if you're going to take that long to describe something, I'm passing. I can't. It's just not me. For me, it feels like it's just fluffy. It doesn't need to be there. But for certain genres, it's necessary because it's the expected thing. And for a lot of people, it creates this immersion in the world. So I can see the why of it, especially fantasy and epic fantasy. Like I've read, epic fantasy where it's like they spend pages describing a forest. And I'm like, there were a bunch of trees. So it's like, yeah, Yes. Right. See, most people scan those things. Like Linda's saying, they scan the descriptions because there are so many. I don't intend to do that many descriptions. Mine is going to be very streamlined in terms of that. Yeah, see, like Heather, research, 3 tabs, 12 pins, 6 websites, and a partridge in a pear tree. Exactly. And I agree. It's just, you don't need that much description. So I'm going to put some in. I don't know. I'll find a happy medium. I hear an ambulance in the outside of your window. Yes, because M&S is nearby somewhere, always. Yes, Dune. Oh my God, Dune is so. When I read it the first time, I was still like in school. So Dune is so slow in the beginning. The world, the spice, the politics, everything. It's considered a classic, but it's like really slow, really slow. Right, scenes should be succinct, but sometimes they go overboard and it just expands and expands and expands, and it's just too much, So I'm going to internalize it. I'm going to absorb it. I'm going to read it and learn from it, and then I'm going to put my own personal spin on it, and I'll describe what needs to be described. If like Craig says, if it's a plot required item, if it's something that furthers the story, definitely I'll go into a description of it. But most of the time when I write my descriptions, like even if you look at my stories, I'll describe certain things in detail, but other things I'll just let you know, hey, we went here, or it's this. And then certain places I'll describe in detail. So yes. Grey's Anatomy is a must for body parts, definitely. Okay. So IT Lucas, is that the name? IT Lucas page? I just picked A Court of Thorns and Roses because it had 58, I think it's 58,000 reviews. and has done really well. So I said, let me see, because if she's got this many reviews and they're all fairly positive, I said I can try and read this. But I can tell you, it's not that it's bad writing; it's really good writing. She writes really well. It's just been a slog for me. That's all, because my brain doesn't do PNR that well. Okay, so I will try IT Lucas and see page for sure. Isabel. Oh, okay, I get it. Isabel Lukes. Is it Lukes? Lucas? Okay, Isabel Lucas. Okay, I'll try it for sure. Do you have the title of her first book? Because that would help tremendously. Yes, a dictionary. So I have a dictionary open as a tab, always. Tammy, a dictionary, the Urban Dictionary as well, 15 horror movie trivia pages, 1155 pop culture reference. Yeah, considering the life that I've led, a lot of that stuff is already in my head. I just got to sort it, you know what I mean? But I have a lot of those tabs open because sometimes it's like, is it exactly this or exactly that? So, yeah. Lori says there's a fine line between enough description to put you in their shoes and too much, right, that you bored me to beyond tears. Exactly. You don't want to get to the point where you just go on and on, page after page after page, describing something, because it really, really slows the story down. I learned that in the Spiritual Warriors. You don't want to slow it down to the point where now you're just writing description. So, exactly, Craig. One of the reasons why my stories are set in New York City is I don't have to do world building. In this book, The Court of Thorns and Roses, again, great book, but she has to spend so much time creating the world itself, where I would have just said, I'm going to drive down 45th Street and 6th Avenue. We made a left at 44th Street on 8th Avenue. I don't have to create any of that. It's already there. And this is why New York City has always been portrayed as a character unto itself, because it is a character unto itself. Thank you, Paige. I appreciate it. Stranger Dream Children, I would definitely check it out for sure. Oh, the MST, because, right, I have to know the explosive hazards around Simon. That's kind of important. What is explosive, flammable, anything like that, or that can become that way. I agree, Lisa. Overly descriptive books, if you get a great narrator, it becomes like this stepping into another world. If you get the right narrator, it becomes a great audiobook, for sure. Because now this person's describing the world to you, so it's different. Children of the Gods, okay. Wow, okay, that sounds really good. I think I can get into that page, for sure. Thank you. Oh, let me get to the time. Craig, I totally appreciate you being a good timekeeper on that. I'm going to switch tabs. So I can't see you guys. I can't see your you know what, let me just, I won't be able to see your questions, your comments in the feed, but because I'm moving over to the MoB page. But I can still, I'm here. All right, questions from Audrey. What musical instrument, and beforehand, I'm gonna just say thank you for all the questions. You guys are amazing. From Audrey, what musical instrument annoys you the most? I'm trying to think. I can appreciate almost being a musician. I played trumpet for many years, and I played first trumpet all through high school and college. I can appreciate every instrument. So I would have to say the bassoon. The bassoon annoyed me in school, but that's about it. I can appreciate most instruments. Every instrument has its place. This question is for Dolly. She's not here. So what is the one thing you never thought you'd need and now can live without? I'm going to answer for her. That is me. Orlando, have you ever had writer's block? And if so, how do you handle it? I've never had writer's block because for me, I'm not a believer in writer's block. I think writer's block is just fear. It's either fear of getting it right or fear of getting it wrong. So what happens is that the fear paralyzes you, and that becomes what people call writer's block. So the only way to deal with what people perceive as writer's block is to write. Just write your way out of it. And it's hard. I'm not dismissing the people, the authors that say they have writer's block that just can't get the words out. It's usually based in some kind of fear. Fear, what if I'm not good enough? Fear, What if it takes off and now I can't follow that up with another success? So it's usually based and rooted in fear. So you gotta face the fear, and the only way to get out of writer's block is to write your way out of writer's block. You can't read your way out of writer's block. You can't watch TV or series your way out of writer's block. You have to write. You gotta sit down, Sitzfleisch, as they say, and write your way out of writer's block. That's the way to do it. Rena Besterford, this is your first question. Okay, Orlando, what is your obsession with designer clothes and M&S? I had to look up Zegna. Mages dress very well, and the House of Zegna, Emergenio Zegna, there were mages who created clothes. There's a whole backstory there that I'm not going to get into, but I chose that designer because first, they make fantastic clothes. Second, because I made them a mage family, a mage fashion family, so they make rune clothes for mages. Plus, I wanted Monty to dress stylishly, and so by placing designer clothes in the books, you have an idea of how Monty dresses. You realize Simon never dresses anything stylish except when he gets suits from Piero, but Monty, it's a part of his meticulousness that he will dress only in specific clothing because it's part of his mage identity. So that's why you'll see designer clothes in, and it's usually for the powerful creatures, powerful beings. You'll see them have designer clothing. So that's why. Let's see. Rebecca asks, are MS&P moving to Simon's new place? What new place? I'm not aware of him having a new place. Oh, you mean the one in that Oreth left him? No, they're not going to move there for sure. No, she may have left him the place, and he can probably use it as a kind of testing place, lab, place to escape to. But he's not going to live there. He's going to live at the Moscow. So yeah, they're living at the Moscow. Plus, to get there, he really can't get there on his own. He'd have to be taken there because you got to get to Hades, and Hades the place, not Hades the god. So it's not like he can just pop over to his new place, at least until he learns how to do that. And he doesn't know how to. He barely knows how to wield the energy and the magic that he can now. So no, he's not going to move. They're not going to move there. Simon's not going to move there, but they can use it as a place to test things out for sure. Later on, that's books ahead. Thank you for the question, Rebecca. Thank you for the question, Rena. Let's see. Jules asks, how did you get started in your career? What did you do after that first real book sale? So the first year, I've always said this, I don't hide it. The first year after I wrote back in 2012, I made $56.81. The first year, that's 12 months, I made $56.81. So it wasn't like I was jumping for joy. I think I bought myself some coffee at Starbucks. But you persevere. How did I get started? I've always written. When I was younger, I used to write, and so I've always written. But after I discovered that the Kindle was coming out, I figured, okay, I can start getting rejection letters and just put books out directly to readers, and that's kind of how everything started. So I wanted to write, directly to the readers. So once the Kindle came out, it made it possible. I've only read M&S, but will you have any novellas about how they met? Oh, you asked this, Rena. Yeah, no, not anytime soon. No. So I know you like a little romance, and that's me too. I like a little romance, as little as possible. So there's a little romance in the Monty and Strong books. Monty and Strong is not a romance story in that sense. There's romantic tension, but there's no real romance per se. You have to really read between the lines to get to the romance in Monty and Strong. Lori asks, best option for what to read while waiting for M&S Next Adventure. There's a lot of books that I've written, and you got so many great authors. You've got John Logston, Ben Zackheim, Eric Asher. You've got, M.D. Massey. You've got a lot of people to read. So while you're waiting for the next M&S adventure, you've got Chris Chrisman, who's a new debut author. There's so many books that you can read. There's no one author that can keep all the readers happy. So just, I can give you an extensive list, but you've got Nicole Grotepas, you've got Kirsten Benz, We've got, there's so many. There's a bunch of them within the MoB family. We got Jonathan Yanes, Rick Gualtieri. There's so many authors that you can read while you're waiting for the next M&S adventure. So there's no shortage of fantastic indie authors that you can support. All right, those are all the questions. Thank you so much, guys. Those questions are fantastic. Let me get back to the feed. Oh, let's see. Linda, thank you for coming. Have a great weekend. Thank you for being here and visiting and being here. Yes, trumpet players do rock. All right, I got to go back in the feed because I was doing questions. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. I have a problem with people prose. It's not easy finding the right balance between people and beige. I don't know what that means, but I kind of get it. People prose, I guess. Okay, thank you for the time reminder, Craig. I really did appreciate it. I wrote that short story in 8th grade. She failed me. Oh, wow, really? She failed you for writing a short story? That's horrible, man. I was very fortunate that I had great English teachers, you know, that really supported not so much the writing, but the love of reading and the love of exploring stories. I had great English teachers that encouraged that. So for that, I count myself very fortunate. And all my years of playing D&D, which are fantastic. And Chris is going to kill her in book 3. This is why you don't piss off authors. We kill you in stories. Let's see. You're ready for stories set so often, it's hard to have writer's block. Yeah, it's hard to have, for me, it's very hard to have writer's block because I have stories set everywhere. And, you know, it's really hard. I really do think it has a lot to do with fear. But that's my opinion. But I think the foundation of writer's block is some sort of fear. Yeah. Oh yeah, don't forget the name generator tabs. This is true, Lori. I have used them. But a lot of my names are Japanese, and I have an extensive history in Japanese because I studied martial arts for so long. So I gravitate towards Japanese names in many of the stories. So yeah. Let's see. How did Monty and Simon meet? I missed that in the book so far. You have to read No God is Safe. It's a short story. I guess that's considered book 0. And that shows you how Monty and Simon met. Facebook user. I don't know who that is. How many total books have I published? Off the top of my head, I couldn't even tell you right now. Go to fantasticfiction.com. My name and type in my name, and they have all the books that I've published there. But off the top of my head, Dolly could tell you that. I couldn't tell you. She knows. She keeps a running count. Just to let you know, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books off on my website because since the last time I updated my website, I've published already 6 books. So imagine, yeah. The Bassoonian Pete and the Wolf works. That's the only time it really works, Tammy. Leslie Ann Brandt as Bug. That's a good suggestion too, Cynthia. Yeah, read Build the Vampire books for sure. Like all the authors that I mentioned are fantastic authors. Go read their stuff. Bye, Marie. Thank you for being here, for jumping in, and have a great weekend, Marie. Let's see, new comments. Okay. Let's see. Purple Pro. Oh, yeah, I don't do. Oh, it's Purple Prose. I thought you said that's why I read People Prose. What is People Prose? Okay, yeah, Purple Prose is. Yeah, I try not to do Purple Prose. Right. Thank you, Craig. Yeah, I couldn't see the feed at the moment, but I can see it now. Oh, beige is too little. Got it. So yes, pick up Mixed Magic. Pick up the Grave Mythos from JL. All the stuff. Build a Vampire by Rick. There's so many. Kimbra Swain has a whole bunch of good books that you can read. She has the Trailer Park series. So many great series. Oh, Tammy, see, that reminds me of South Park, right? And they kill somebody in South Park in every episode. I forgot the kid's name that dies in every episode. So yeah. Here's a question: are your runes like kanji or like a lettered language? More like kanji, Craig. Definitely. Not a Proto-Arabic language, but more like kanji. So each symbol signifies something. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting, Lori. I've never had to do that, where an author kills off their partner's ex immediately before their relationship in every book they write. That's interesting. I think I've heard something about that. There's an author that does that in every book. Rena asks, which of your series should I read after M&S? Wow. So if you've gotten through all 16 books, I would do Sepia. Yeah, I know it's almost time, like really almost time. Kenny's the one that gets killed. Thanks, guys. Kenny dies in every episode. Yeah, that's Kenny. Okay, so which of my series would you read? Oh, geez. I don't know. What do you guys suggest after M&S? I would read Gatekeepers. I would read Night Warden, even though it's only 2 books. I would read Sepia Blue. If you want to go way back in time and can handle a beginning writing, I would read Spiritual Warriors. Let's see. There's a bunch of series that are out there. I would read Rule of the Council, definitely, because that's a Michigo story. So that was a lot of fun. There's a bunch, Rena. Blackjack, Gideon, even though there's only 1 book each, but they're both really good. I really like them both and have to get back to them. Night Wardens, for sure. Definitely, Cynthia. Yeah, we're almost out of time. But we're not really out of time, as Sid would say. We're almost done here for today. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot you could read, Rena. I mean, Monty and Strong is a great place to start because you can go to all the branches from there. But there are lots of Division 13 has a lot of fun moments. Time is definitely on our side, always. I would definitely read Night Wardens. You know, it's hard. That's actually a hard question, Rena. Which one to read after Monty and Strong? Because I would always say read Monty and Strong. But yeah, go start with read Rule of the Council, read everything related to Monty and Strong first, and then branch out to the non-Monty and Strong related books. So, all right, so short visit. Bye, Facebook user. Happy weekend to you. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up because it's 12, what time is it? 12:40. It's time for us to wrap it up. So I want to thank you all for being here. You guys are awesome. And Brenna, send me a PM and I can send you the link to go to Fantastic Fiction. I'll send it to you. You can and I can tell you which one to pick that kind of makes sense after Monty and Strong. So just send me a direct message and then I'll send you a link. I want to thank you guys all for being here. I want you guys to have a fantastic, fantastic weekend. It's been another great show. I agree, Chris. You guys make this show amazing. It's great having you all here. We need a seed and Cecil behind the scenes. That would actually be good, a Sunatran story. That would have to be a short story, but that would be really awesome. It's wonderful, Cynthia, because you guys are here and make it wonderful. I want to wish you all a fantastic weekend. And even though I flew solo here, Dolly was here in spirit because she's always here with me. And you guys, thank you for reading. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making time to be here. I know you took time out of your day to drop in, have some coffee, have some conversation. I can't wait till we actually have a Peaches Con and we can do this live. That would be fantastic. And always, guys, always remember, be uncommon. All right, I'm going to see. Well, our next one is in 2 weeks. So let me see when that is. Today is the 19th. So the next would be the 2nd of September. That's our next show. So September 2nd. All right. So yes, Tammy, Peaches Con. We got to do a Peaches Con for sure. Awesome. That'll be awesome. All right, guys, be uncommon. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye.